What's going on again? I didn't think I was gonna make two videos today. I didn't talk about my scent today, which is Carlisle. And somebody said I'm gonna have to start sending out samples. That's what I'm gonna start doing when people start doing consultation and winning. I'm gonna send them a sample of some good cologne. No, I'm just playing. But I wanted to talk about something. People, when you try to take this, when you go on this journey, I need you to understand that this is a journey for fighters. This is not a journey for people who are not prepared to fight. Okay. You have to be about that action, as they say in the streets. All right. Now, the reason why I'm telling you that is I want you to know ahead of time that the banks are not your friend. They're not going to be friendly with you because anything that you do to them can cause them thousands of dollars. Okay. So, with that being said, you must understand that it is in the bank's best interest to finesse you. And that's why I always tell you that the rules of the streets always apply. And if you don't understand this, you're going to be taken advantage of. So, before you try to discharge a mortgage or you try to discharge a car, know the rules and know what could happen. Okay. Now, in the state of Wisconsin, the lender, in most instances, if they're not going to take go to court route, they have to apply to repossess the vehicle. Now, let me tell you something. If the lender actually legally outright owned the vehicle, then why would they have to apply for the vehicle, apply for repossession, or why would they have to go through court? The reason why is because they do not own the vehicle. They have not lent you any money, so you cannot be in default. So when they start sending you guys notices, you do not answer those notices. Okay. Now, the court is not always going to be fair because you have to remember they have a right to be in court and you have a right to challenge their standing or their ability to be in court. You have a right to challenge it. Now, what's going to happen is some courts will try to rocket docket. So if you know what rocket docket means, it means they're trying to push their docket forward. So the court will enter a judgment on basically an erroneous case. But you have the ability to challenge it. But the key is to stop it from happening from its inception. Okay. So look, in the state of Wisconsin, they have to fill out this repossession application. Okay. So that means that they're asking the DMV to enforce their lien. Okay. So now you have to understand, okay, how do I prevent this from happening? Okay. So look, what is the form MV? The reason why I know information is because I study. I'm no better than anybody. I just study. So I've studied all of like what could happen. That's why there's so many possibilities when you start understanding things. What is the form MV 211-7? A repossession application. The form, I'm not going to say the numbers all over again. Repossession application is a document used in Wisconsin to apply for repossessing a vehicle. What information is required on this form? The form, number stated again, repossession application requires information about the vehicle, the borrower, the lender, and the reason for repossession. Okay, who's eligible to use this form? The form repossession application can be used by lenders or their assigned agents who have a security interest in the vehicle. So you need to remove their security interest. I'm just basically giving you knowledge of how to get rid of this in a repossession. So when people get their vehicles repossessed, right, you have to know that you're not the only one that this is happening to. You're not the only one going through this. And I think a lot of times that's why I try to tell people you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be all of this other stuff. You just have to know how to stop it. You have to know what they're supposed to do, what you need to challenge. Okay. Motor vehicle repossession in Wisconsin. Notice the customer is required. Okay. So they have to give you a notice. Okay. So if the person is stating that they loaned you money and they didn't loan you any money, they don't have the right to repossess the vehicle. I think people do not understand court. I don't think people understand debt. Okay. When somebody's alleging that you're in debt, they have to have proof that there is a deficit on their books. Them sending you saying you have to pay this amount, okay, you can promise to pay that amount. You can endorse it for payment, etc., to get out of a repossession. There's many things you guys can do. Same thing with a foreclosure. Um, but see, they have to send a notice to the customer. Um, So they have you can give an objection to breach of peace. The creditor cannot breach the peace during the repossession. You know, I used to see all these people doing these repossession videos on the internet, and you hear these idiots talking about you should have paid your bill, you should have did this. A repossession has absolutely nothing to do with the payment of a bill. When a lender is repossessing your vehicle, it's because you failed to complete your obligation and you gave them a security interest in the car, which you never rescinded. Okay. So that's why the lender is taking possession of your house and your car. So penalties for unlawful repossession. Guess what? The customer gets to keep the vehicle. The customer is no longer required to make further payments on the vehicle. Guess what? If they foreclose your property and you sue the lender for a wrongful foreclosure, did you know that if you win that wrongful foreclosure case, you don't have to pay for your house? You didn't know that, did you? See, the customer is entitled to recover all payments made, and the customer recovers costs and attorney's fees. So if your repossession was illegal, do you know you could go back and sue the attorney's firm and the lender and require them to come up and pay you because they're both liable because they both initiated the action? The Whenever you're being sued, you're always being sued by the attorneys. You're always being sued by the attorneys. You're never being sued by the lender because the lender doesn't have anything. But see, once the lender assigns or transfers the collateral file to the attorney, they're just as liable as the attorney. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys again, and I'm out. Smelling good.